Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Whisky Geek. My name's Ben, and today I'm doing a review of another Bruichladdich malt. Today it is the Islay Barley 2011. Now this is one of the whiskies in the Bruichladdich High Provenance series. They are exploring the influence of barley, of malt within the whisky production. So they have the Islay Barley, which is sourced from farms on Islay. Then they have the beer barley, which is a specific type of barley originating from the Orkney Islands. Some of the previous releases, they were actually sourced from Orkney as well. I'm not sure whether they still are. And then finally they have the organic. The organic, as you'd imagine, is all organically grown barley. So this is one of the three, and this happens to be my favourite, I think. This is the one I've spent the most time with, but when I sampled the three of them back to back at the distillery, this is the one that I wanted to buy a bottle of. So if we go in and take a closer look at the bottle, it being Bruichladdich, of course, it's a good looking bottle, good looking packaging, stands out nicely on the shelves, but they've also included a lot of great information here. We do have an age statement. It's 6 aged years in oak casks. They've given us the name of the 6 farms and the location of the 6 farms on Islay that this barley's come from, and it's unchill filtered, it's not coloured, 50% ABV. This is presented very nicely, not just from a marketing point of view, from the integrity of the whisky point of view. This is the kind of bottle that I like to buy. So let's get some poured. I've been on a massive Bruichladdich binge, and I'm not even sorry. I've been enjoying this Port Charlotte, exploring this one so much that I decided to pick up this MRC01 as well. They've both got some nice wine cask influence, so interested to give that one a try. But shifting focus back to this Islay Barley 2011, we'll take a look at the colour. It's about a shade 04, Suave, a nice crisp clear gold colour. Authentically coloured. Now, one thing that was mentioned off the back of the Laddie 8-year-old review was that Bruichladdich, for the most part, they really benefit from being allowed time in the glass to breathe, to air. And that is something that I do when I review and when I generate my notes. And I also happen to have tried this one with water, just incremental drops of water to see how it develops and changes. For my palate, I think it's best left at 50% ABV. But if you get your hands on some of this, try it with a touch of water and see where it lies within your preferences. But for this one today, I'm just going to leave it for about 10 minutes before I go in and nose it. But I will keep it capped, and the reason for that is that due to the dispersion, you gather most of the aroma. You get a really rich nose on that first breath, but then it quickly diffuses from there and becomes very mellow. So I don't lose out by keeping it capped. I can get that first rich inhale, but then I see how it mellows out beyond that. One thing that I forgot to mention, there's even more information on the tin, and there's some really good stuff about the casks that have been used here as well. The spirit has been matured in a mix of 75% fresh bourbon casks, 25% second and third fill sweet white wine casks. These bring a gentle cask influence to this vibrant terroir whisky. Great information to have. For someone geeky like me, it's really, really great. So now let's go in and explore the nose. It's so authentic, that nose just straight away. It's great. It's floral, and there's a sweetness like a honeysuckle, but then this kind of a light vinous tone, a little bit sharp, kind of akin to a white wine starts to come in. No prickle, no real heat to it. The barley influence begins to show, but it's like a dry barley, a little bit resinous. It's like intermingled with some woody tones. Really pleasant. And then behind it all there's some dense cereals. It's kind of like thickly buttered rye bread, you know, it's really dense. And then there's that green sappy note again, like a freshly broken green leaf, like aloe vera leaf, something like that. This has really just got a very authentic, welcoming nose. Lots of nice cereal tones, but that sweetness brings an interest, and there's a lot of depth to it. It's hard to believe it's 50% ABV. It's really, really pleasant. Moving on to the palate. It's a touch drying. Initially, again, it's that soft and floral tones coming in. But then it's quite woody. There's a lot of different woody strands to it, and they're kind of changing, they're chopping between. It's a bit warming. Those tannins are in there, and it gradually, the intensity builds, but it is quite a slow and gradual development, and it becomes a bit peppery. Pleasantly peppery though. And then there's some more of those resinous notes. The green, again, authenticity, kind of farmyard greenness, some dry hay even. And there's a hint of salinity, a hint maritime behind there, but it is very, very subtle in the background. As you'd expect at 50% ABV and unchill filtered, there's some really nice thick legs building on the glass. Now through into the finish, again it's drying and warming, but that kind of a little bit sharp vinous tone shows, but this time it's quite sweet and it lingers on nicely. And there's more of that wood, dry wood in particular, maybe some hay in there as well. And it's got a really nice rounded cereal body. It sits on the palate and it follows through really nicely. Again, very little prickle, but a nice body of warmth. There's also some of those tannins with the cereal, kind of pithy and a little bit of citrus as well, hiding away in the background. This kind of just strikes me as the quintessential Bruichladdich. This is everything that I come to expect from the brand, from the distillery. You've got authenticity, integrity on the packaging. They give you a great deal of information. There is nowhere in the whiskey for any off notes, any oddities to hide, and it doesn't falter for that. There's a great wealth of barley influence and flavours, backed up by some nice woody tones. And then I think the sweet white wine cask was a really intelligent choice. It's helped a great deal to just bring out and back up what the whiskey is aiming for without overwhelming anything. It just bolsters it with this nice sweet tone and an extra layer of interest. And because it's a relatively delicate, there's no overwhelming cask influence, the buttery and floral spirit shows through really quite nicely. Now, like I said, I have tried it with water, and for me it just emphasised the woody, peppery tones. So oddly enough, I think high ABV is the best way to go with it. So thanks for watching, guys, and joining me for another whiskey review. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please chuck a like and a comment below, it really helps, and consider subscribing for more whiskey content. Cheers! Really keen to have a try of this one. Oh, look at the colour on that. Oh wow, well that's interesting. Certainly don't regret picking that one up.